The sun over Camp Lejeune hit the chow hall windows like molten glass. Light spilled in hard white slabs, cutting across trays, boots, and sweat. The lunch line sounded like a factory steel against steel, cheap jokes, the metallic rhythm of soldiers who ate in 15 minutes and left nothing behind. Danielle Carter, black tea ponytail apron stained with dignity, moved through it like calm water. She didn't rush, didn't bow. Her tag said Danielle, but everyone called her ma'am when the gunny was in the room. She had that way about her, measured, correct, unbothered. Until today. Private first class. Tyler Mason, 21, all muscle and impatient, swaggered to the counter with two friends. His buzz cut looked carved out of arrogance. "Hey, sweetheart," he said. Voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Men are trying to eat, not wait on slow hands." Forks froze midair. Even the fryer hiss went silent. Danielle didn't turn. She poured sweet tea for a silver-haired veteran in the corner, his prosthetic boot tapping in rhythm. Then she set the pitcher down like a judge setting a gavel. Only then did she look up. "Your order's coming," she said, soft and precise. "You'll wait like everyone else." Mason smirked. "You people always got attitude." The words hung in the heat like a bad smell. Her eyes narrowed, no anger, just a calibration. "Say that again." He stepped closer, grinning. "You heard me." She looked at his collar. "Private right." He blinked. "Yeah. Why?" "Because that tells me how long you've been stupid," she said evenly. The friends laughed. Mason's face burned. He stepped in, closing the distance, and pressed two fingers against her neck, right below the jawline, the way you do when you think dominance equals control. The room froze. Danielle didn't flinch. She stared through him, voice quiet as command. "At ease, Private. Hands off." The syllables landed like a trigger. Something old and trained in him reacted. He withdrew without knowing why. The gunny looked up from his meatloaf. "What's the problem, Mason?" "Nothing, gunny." "Then eat your damn lunch and thank the lady." Danielle's tone stayed level. "Trey, eat. Be better." As she turned away, the fluorescent lights caught a glint of metal, tucked beneath her apron, round gold, and worn smooth by years of being carried. Rumors sprinted through the base, faster than trucks on payday. By evening, the story had mutated. Some said the waitress decked him. Others swore she called him private garbage. By midnight, Mason's ego had swollen to a quiet boil. He went back the next day, not sure why. Maybe pride, maybe curiosity. The chow hall was quieter, post-lunch calm. Danielle wiped down the counter, humming something old and steady. "You again," she said without looking up. "Me again," he replied, folding his arms. "We didn't finish our conversation." "We did," she said. "You just didn't like the ending." He leaned in. "You think because you're older and black, you can talk to Marines that way." "No," she said, "because I'm a Marine." He laughed once, sharp. "Right." She reached into her apron and set a coin on the counter. The sound it made metal on laminate cut the silence clean. Eagle globe and anchor. Scratched edges, faint engraving, Staff Sergeant Danielle Carter. "I earned mine," she said. 8 years. 2 tours. Supply and training. You. He stared, throat dry. "You were a what?" "Staff Sergeant. Retired early. My mother got sick. Didn't stop being what I was." He picked up the coin like it might bite. "You serious?" She leaned forward. "Dead serious. Saturday. VFW Hall on Pine Street. Show up and serve lunch to people who carried this uniform before you did. You want to understand respect, try earning it one tray at a time." He frowned. "Why the hell should I?" She met his eyes, calm as a storm front. "Because I trained a Marine better than you'll ever be." He blinked. "You don't even know me." Her voice dipped. "I knew your brother, Corporal Luke Mason, Echo Company." The name hit like a slap. He stepped back. What did you just say?" She nodded. "You got his jawline." Same smirk before the world straightened it out. She picked up the coin. You want to come Saturday, you come. Or keep pretending a rank means character. He said nothing as she walked away. The only sound left was the hum of the freezer and the blood pounding in his ears. ICT3, Ghosts and Lessons. The VFW hall smelled like bleach barbecue and ghosts. The flag outside flapped hard in the Carolina wind. Inside folding tables gleamed with cheap polish. Danielle handed him a hairnet and an apron. You'll serve, not talk, she said. He nodded. Yes, ma'am. Say yes, Staff Sergeant. He hesitated, then said it. Yes, Staff Sergeant. She smirked, half amusement, half lesson. All afternoon, he worked beside veterans with faces carved from old wars. Gunnery Sergeant Harold Whitaker, leg gone, below the knee, ran the kitchen like a field op. The man could command a battalion with a spatula. You the punk who mouthed off, Whitaker asked. Yes, Gunny. Good. That means you got potential. He handed Mason a stack of plates. Rule 1, never serve with an empty head. You keep it busy, you stay useful. They served chicken and dumplings, collard greens, cornbread. Every veteran thanked him by name. Mason's shoulders dropped an inch each time. Later, Whitaker sat him down. You think racism's about color, he said. It's about respect and discipline, the kind that starts with your mouth. Mason nodded slowly. Your brother understood that, Whitaker added. Mason froze. You knew Luke. Whitaker smiled sadly. We all did. He wrote the kind of letters men read twice. He pulled a folded page from his jacket, yellowed creased. Found this cleaning the supply locker last year. You should see this. Mason took it, hands trembling. The handwriting was clumsy but strong. Dear Mom, Sarge Carter's tough. Real tough. But she's fair. She says a Marine's worth is how he treats the weakest one in the room. I'm trying to be that kind. If I don't make it home, tell her I learned to respect the easy way from her. Mason swallowed hard. He wrote that. Whitaker nodded. The night before we lost him. Danielle appeared behind them, wiping her hands. I told him to rest that night. He swapped watch with me, said I looked tired. She stared at the floor. I lived because your brother didn't. The silence pressed thick. Mason's jaw tightened. You don't owe me. I owe his memory, she cut in. Not you, but you could stop disgracing it. He looked at her eyes, wet. How? Start by showing up when it counts, she said. Because this time, someone filed a complaint. She handed him an envelope stamped Command Review. His throat went dry. They're really, she said. You'll stand in front of officers and answer for what you said and did. Her voice softened. This isn't punishment. It's redemption, if you let it be. He nodded slowly. Will you be there? I will, she said. So will your brother. The base auditorium looked sterile, rows of metal chairs, a flag, too clean, lights too white. The hum of the air conditioner filled the space between heartbeats. The major at the front read the charges in a flat voice. Verbal harassment. Physical contact with civilian personnel. Mason stood stiff. Yes, sir. Did you make a racial remark? Yes, sir. Did you place your hand on Miss Carter's neck? Yes, sir. Why? I was angry and wrong. The major looked unimpressed. Understood. He turned. Miss Carter, please step forward. Danielle rose, black blouse, pressed coin visible in her palm. She didn't clear her throat. I'm not here to ruin this, Marine, she said. I'm here to defend a standard. He said something that doesn't belong in a Marine's mouth. He touched me where he shouldn't have, but he's been correcting himself ever since. The major raised an eyebrow. How so? By serving the people who wore this uniform before him. By showing up. The sergeant major leaned forward. You were his brother's staff sergeant, correct? She nodded. Yes, Sergeant Major. Corporal Luke Mason, Echo Company. The room went still. Danielle took a folded paper from her folder, the letter. She held it up. He wrote this the night before he died. Said he learned to respect the easy way from me. She handed it to the major, who read it aloud. The room held its breath. When he finished, his tone had changed. "Private Mason," he said quietly, "did you know about this?" "No, Sir," Mason whispered. "I wish I had." Danielle turned to him. "Your brother carried respect like a weapon. You dropped it. Pick it up again." He swallowed. "Yes, Staff Sergeant." The major cleared his throat. "Given Miss Carter's testimony and your cooperation, this review will not end your career, but it will define it. You will complete your hours at the VFW. You will mentor new recruits on discipline and equality. Dismissed." Before he could move, Danielle slid the coin across the table. Clink. The sound echoed. "Carry it," she said. "Bring it back when you don't need it." The sergeant major stood. "Miss Carter," he said solemnly, "thank you for carrying our standard when we forgot it." She nodded once. Semper Fi. Winter thinned into early spring. The base breathed a quieter rhythm. Mason pinned on Lance Corporal, earned this time not given. He stayed late in the mess to help clean, volunteered at the VFW every Saturday. People began to call him "Yes, Sir" instead of "Hey, Kid." He carried the coin in his pocket for months, finger tracing the edges whenever doubt crept in. Then one morning, he realized he'd left it at home and felt fine. He drove to Cooper's Grill, the small diner Danielle now managed near the highway. Veterans filled the booths. Whitaker sat by the window, laughing like thunder. The walls carried photos of soldiers gone and remembered. In the corner, Luke Mason's picture, smiling with a folded flag beneath. Danielle came from the kitchen, wiping her hands. "Coffee." He smiled. "Pie." She poured the coffee anyway. "How's the uniform treating you?" "Better than I treated it," he said. She nodded, pleased. "Good." He reached into his jacket, placed the coin on the counter between them. "I think I'm done carrying it." She studied it for a moment, then closed his fingers around it again. "Keep it. Just remember who gave it to you." He looked at her, eyes glinting. "You still blaming yourself for Luke?" Her gaze softened, distant. "Every day I breathe as a reminder. But maybe I was kept alive to teach his brother something." He nodded. "You did." The bell above the door rang a gust of spring air, a sliver of sunlight. Mason stood smoothing his uniform. "I'm on gate duty," he said. "See you round, Staff Sergeant." "You will, Lance Corporal." The next morning dawned clean and gold. Danielle's old sedan rolled toward the base gate thermos, steaming in the cup holder. The checkpoint guard straightened Mason, now composed, squared shoulders, chin tucked. She slowed. He stepped forward, hand snapping up in a perfect salute. She returned it short, crisp, absolute. He grinned slightly. "Ma'am." She smiled back. "Marine." The car rolled through. In her rearview mirror, sunlight flared off his collar, bright as the coin. Back at Cooper's, she pinned Luke's letter inside the frame above the coffee machine. Beneath it, she hung a small wooden plaque, carved by someone whose hands shook but whose heart was steady. Respect is a standard. When customers asked where it came from, she just said, "From two Marines who learned it the hard way. One who died proving it, and one who lived to carry it." Outside, the American flag waved slow in the morning air. The world didn't change, but two people had, and sometimes that's how honor comes back home.